Checking in with chapters 36 to 40 of He Knew He Was Right by Anthony Trollope. I talked about in the last thing of I'm really having a hard time kind of caring about the characters or their plights, finding them particularly interesting. And I think that sort of does continue in this one. Um, we get Hugh Standish going to Nora Morley and kind of declaring his love, and her just like, no, I can't accept you because you don't have enough money, even though she is uh, put aside two other gentlemen for who wanted to marry her, but had the money, but she didn't love. But she does love you. It's like, oh, I can't love you, and he really does try and press his point, and she really, just walks out. But she does it in such a way of kind of, oh, womanly, kind of like, oh, upset that he still feels semi-triumphant, which is kind of not that great in itself. Um, Meanwhile, traveling through Europe, we come upon not only Louis Trevelyan, but also the guy, GD, um, George Cavendish? No, something like that. The young lord dude who had proposed to Nora and had been rebuffed. And They kind of bump each other on the train. They have kind of a funny thing of it's a French train and they've overbooked, and the French guys are like, that's the way it is. You'll have to sit somewhere else. And initially, it's two young American women who have to do this, and they're protesting, and Lewis and the young lord guy give up their seats for them, and they kind of fall into kind of that kind of um, travelers kind of you get to know people along the way, and it looks like the young lord might end up getting hooked up with one of the Americans who don't really quite realize exactly how wealthy and poobah he is until they finally get to their destination, where it gets announced in the paper that yes, this young lord has shown up. They confirm his name and go, oh, you're that young lord. So that is quite the thing. All this while, Louis Trevelyan is very out of sorts, very just kind of like blah. His only friend is Basil, this detective who basically fills his ear, who, unlike everyone else, says like, you're being really unreasonable, says, oh no, women, they're terrible, and fills him with basically all the paranoia and stuff he needs. Even though he knows that the guy is sort of really bad news, he's basically his own only connection. He's not having he's not using this time to kind of clear his mind, but rather is kind of sinking more and more into kind of misery. And we get the narrator talking about, like, how, yep, basically he's kind of insane on this matter. He's not thinking reasonable at all, and that's sort of where we get in this section. We also get Mrs. Standish, the widow who's trying to marry off uh, Dolly, is peeved at that. Like, we've put all these things forward, and both Hugh and Dolly have kind of stymied her, and she's finding it very frustrating. I kind of like her, I guess, in a way, just because she's kind of solid that way. Yeah, yeah, that's sort of what's gone on in this section. It's Trollope, and I enjoy reading Trollope, but I have to say, this to me does not. First 40 chapters is not um, getting me going particularly, but I will probably now take a break and read some other stuff until next weekend. So I'm up, I'm all caught up as we go. Don't know if this was kind of, I did this as like, oh, Steve Donahue might do this, but then he got sick, so that may be off, and I just might be doing this as my own kind of lonely Trollope, which is fine. But that's too bad. That's too bad. I hope Steve is doing well. Steve Donahue is doing well, and obviously attend to your health and all that stuff. That comes way before all this stuff, and we will all understand, all the viewers, all the fans, all the people who really like Steve and like watching his stuff want him to take care of himself, so we can very selfishly have many, 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 many more years of Steve delighting us with his videos and his bookish knowledge. So yeah, that's about it for this one. Yeah, yeah. I like Mrs. Mackenzie way more as a character. I was really into her. I don't find that with anybody in this book, and yeah, yeah. So that's where I'm at. All right, maybe but Trollope has been known to surprise me before, so we will see how things go. More videos later.